Ready to light that fire by doing the things that make you come alive? Welcome to Health Raisers, a podcast for wise women. I'm your host, Dr. Nadine. I left a soul-crushing medical career full of bad news and evolved into a joyful health integration coach, helping hundreds of women find their healthy. You're more than your dress size. Stop putting up with toxic relationships, swallowing your true emotions, and sacrificing your mental health. Stop using your body as a battlefield. You're always giving. You deserve to put yourself first, not just for your sake, but for those you love. Wise women, let's make ourselves a priority right now. It's time to raise some health together. Well, hello, wise women. Today, my guest is Princella Seymour. She is an author, a CEO, and founder of Complete Elder Solutions, and she calls herself America's solutionist for the aging community. Her new book is called Everything You Need to Know About Me. Born from decades of experience in witnessing the heartache and confusion families face when trying to honor their loved ones' wishes without having the necessary information. Princella and her team believe in navigating the complexities of aging and providing personalized solutions that honor the dignity of each and every individual. Thank you for being here today, Princella, and welcome.
Thank you so much. I am so honored to be here. Anytime I get an opportunity to share information, or as they say, share the wealth about what I know, I get super excited. I can do it over and over and over anytime. It's called sharing the wealth, right?
I love it. I love it. I'm here for it. So I'm really intrigued by your descriptor, America's solutionist for the aging community. How did you come up with that? What does it mean? Can you tell us about it?
Well, I really didn't come up with it. It was something that through my diverse communities, through my years of working with families, I realized it became very simple to me. And people ask me all day, Princella, what do you do? I say all day long, I solve problems and I give solutions. I provide solutions. So to America, thus America's solutionist for birth. I said I can't define myself any different, because in any given moment or any given day, I'm solving some problem or providing a solution. So sometimes the problem may not end right away, but we're working on the solutions, or we're giving solutions out so that we can alleviate or decrease the problem, right? So in mental illness, sometimes it doesn't go away. We learn how, right? We learn how to accommodate that diagnosis and how to work within the diagnosis. Same thing what I do. So every day I solve problems, give solutions all day long. That's my elevator speech. And that's really how it was really birthed, because really the core of me is always trying to help the aging population and the families and navigate, because it's really, really pretty tough. A lot of times we plan, we kind of know what we want, but we don't really plan it. We have an attorney involved, we'll have a financial advisor, but who's your coach? You'll have a health coach, a mental health coach, but really this thing can be overwhelming. Do you realize the suicide rate is high among this time? Divorce rate is high during caregiving, because sometimes most of the time caregiving is placed on us unexpected. It's not like it's August the 5th, I'll become a caregiver. The same as August the 5th, I'm going to become a grandmother. It's so unpredicted, right?
Right. Okay. Then we're going to dive in. I'm really curious about the piece, the money conversation specifically. Okay. So many of my listeners are wise women who have been trying to have those difficult conversations with their aging parents. So what is your advice on how to approach the topic of finances and long-term care costs without it feeling creepily invasive or creating family tension?
And that's a good question you asked, because, and I like what you said, without creating family tension because that money either bring you together or it separates families. Okay. And it depends on what your motive is and what it, but how I always address it with families is there's always going to be one gatekeeper. So a mother can have 9 children. There's going to be that one that you know within your heart that you can depend on. And he or she has your best interest. So sometimes the conversation may not come among the entire family, but think back, who is that one child that's very dependable that will get it done? And that's the person that I would suggest you starting with and be okay with it. And sometimes you don't have to have it all at one time, but spark the conversation, start the conversations. And sometimes it can happen when something else has happened to the next door neighbor or the best friend.
Okay.
Those are great times to start. Really? So that happened. Oh my God. So how's our children doing? What are they doing? I don't know. The daughter lives here. The mother lives here. The son lives here. You know, Mom, I think it's time for us to talk about, Mom, you know what? I often wonder, what would I do or how would I do it if you were faced with X, Y, and Z? So you want to have it during calming times. It's definitely best or advised not to have it during crises. That's for sure. If you can prevent it. And unfortunately, that's when it happens, during crises.
So we're in crisis mode and we haven't broached this subject for whatever reason. Then what conversation starters can help take down the temperature in those conversations?
So we're in crisis mode. Mom's in the bed. Mom had a hip fracture. She had a fall. The first thing you want to do is always position it at the best interest of Mom. Mom, I need to help you. X, Y, and Z has happened. And I don't have this information. Do you mind sharing it so that I can make sure that the best decisions are made in the best interest of you? So always focus it and bring it back to Mom or Dad being in control, because that's the first thing they don't want to do is feel like they're losing control or you're going into their business. Okay. And certain cultures are very tight. You know what I mean? Yes. Certain cultures are very, very private. You know, Caribbeans, I'm telling you, it's like on their dying bed, they're not telling you what their final wishes are. You understand? So
yes,
a lot of times, and it's not gonna, sometimes it won't happen in that first conversation. Sometimes they have to have on your knees moments. You understand? Before they actually start to really open up. But you want to have it soft. You want to position it so that they feel like they're not losing control. You're not overpowering them by taking over and they're losing something. Because if you come from that position, you probably won't get what you need. But you got to make them always feel like they're in control and it's for the best interest of them and not you.
Bringing you Health Raisers is possible because of these incredible sponsors. Feeling the need for a little pampering? Do you want an escape from the hustle and bustle of daily life? Mac Salon and Day Spa is your destination for relaxation and rejuvenation in Southwest Michigan. Get ready for a retreat in the woods. Mac offers comprehensive services tailored to your needs, including massage, facials, nails, waxing, and hair treatments, ensuring you feel refreshed and beautiful. Whether you're preparing for a special occasion or simply treating yourself, the experts at MAC are committed to helping you look and feel your best. Their commitment to wellness isn't just about beauty. It's about balance, confidence, and feeling amazing in your skin. Visit them today and discover why they're Southwest Michigan's premier choice for all your beauty needs. Looking for some time away from the chaos of everyday life? Step into the beauty of Fernwood Botanical Garden, where nature, peace, and renewal come together. Nestled along the scenic St. Joseph River Valley, in between Niles and Buchanan, Fernwood's 105 acres of lush gardens, quiet trails, and serene woodlands offer a sanctuary for replenishing your soul. Wander through vibrant landscapes, listen to the melodies of birds, and connect with nature at your own pace. Indoors, you'll find an inspiring art gallery, a lush fern conservatory, and a welcoming cafe, perfect for reflection and relaxation. At Fernwood, there's always something to discover, from engaging classes and special events to charming, verdant venues for your own gatherings. It's more than a destination, it's a feeling, a place to breathe, learn, and grow. Plan your visit today. Explore, discover, connect.
In the mood for coffee, tea, yummy pastries, or cool swag? My friends at Infusco have got you covered. Infusco Coffee Roasters is a cozy neighborhood coffee joint in Sawyer and St. Joseph, Michigan. Infusco stands for a healthy community. They craft irresistible seasonal drinks, sourcing local artisans' products. The flavors shine from quality ingredients, and their beans are roasted on site. They do not hide behind tons of sugar. Every time I go, I'm greeted by my name with a smile. Bad service is just non-existent. It feels like stepping into a friend's living room. They keep it personal. Old school, eclectic coffee mugs on the wall, fun merch, including stickers designed by artists, t-shirts, and sweatshirts. It's the perfect place to get to know your neighbors and chat with tourists. You will always find people deep in conversation. Special events keep it fresh. Community, health, the heart of Sawyer. That's Infusco. I hope to meet you there.
So I'm hearing empathy and also asking open-ended questions too, and not just your closed yes, no, where we're really not going to open the door for a real conversation.
Exactly. And it's in passing. Sometimes you can say, Mom, Greg and I, if that's your husband's name, we were talking and this is what we had this conversation, and they go like, yeah, really? How do you want me? So it's creative moments, creative times. Again, always take the onus, give them that whole, they got to feel like they're in control.
So you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of when you are a parent to a teenager and you think that organic conversations are going to happen in a timed fashion, meaning like you try to control it. So it's like, okay, it's dinner time. Go. Tell me about your day. Tell me this, where there's pressure to perform maybe or not perform. And so what I have heard experts say is, and I did this with my own kids, is sort of being there in the background and letting those moments that don't feel pressured kind of happen, where unexpectedly maybe that you're talking about something or not talking about something, and your teen will open up with a problem or a thought that they've been having. So that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing letting those open spaces happen organically. Okay. All right. So one thing I've learned from my previous guests is that families focus on the emotional and the medical aspects of caring for their aging parents, but the financial piece can be super overwhelming. So what can we in this day and age expect in terms of paying for long-term care?
Well, every state have, so what you want to do is definitely I always tell most of my clients, if possible, you want to sit down with a professional and start looking at cost of care. You want to do a 5-year scale, a 10-year scale, based on what you have right now, rather it's your income. If you're going to be dependent solely on income, and that's okay too, we need to sit down with a professional. You need to marry your financial advisor, as well as your attorney and a person like myself.
Okay.
The three of them need to get together and drive, right? Finances handle the finance. Legal handle all the legal assets and all the protection.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because there are a lot of benefits that you may be qualified for, and we have the stigma. Oh, I don't qualify for this because I have too much money, or money is here, money is there. There's still programs in each local state that will help pay towards long-term care. Okay, so those are that's why I say you have to marry your other law attorney, your financial advisor. But in order for us to get you there, we've got to know what your wishes are. Are we going to be home? Are we going to have care at home? Are we going to assisted living? Are we going to nursing home? And so we look at an analytical scope of it, and we bring the families in and we say, hey, they'll say to me, Mom never ever wants to leave her home. I want round the clock care,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what we want. Okay, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at the portfolio. Let's get a consultation with your financial advisor. Let's look at the portfolio and see how we can accomplish this goal. And if it's just not realistic, it's our job to tell them that that's not realistic. Okay. Or you may able to stay at home for 4 years or 5 years with around the clock care. But what happens after that fourth or fifth year? But what I want your listeners to know is every local state have benefits that are funded by the state that will provide some sort of financial assistance, whether they're living at home. Sometimes it's just the care and not the finances, but it helps, right? So here in Florida, we have our Medicaid waiver program. If you want to stay at home, they'll pay towards caregivers to stay at home. So based on your need, if you're needing total care, sometimes you get 8 hours. And then you can take the other 8 hours if you say, well, I need someone at least from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Well, the state may pay for 8 of those hours, and then you make up the difference. So you see how we've stretched that money for long-term care, but you have to know and be aware of those benefits. There's plenty of financial benefits for our veterans. If you've served in the military during wartime at least one day, there's an aid and attendance program that is available. And that's a federal benefit. So it doesn't matter where you live, the criteria is all the same. Okay. And that does help pay towards the cost of care.
Okay.
At home, or an assisted living facility. It also helps pays towards care of a surviving spouse or a spouse. Those benefits can be used.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Given a lot, and I want to just make sure I stick right to your point because there's a lot of help out there. And that's why I'm trying to make sure your audience understand you don't have to do it alone. But you have to be aware of your portfolio and get access to the resources.
I see. Okay. So what are some pitfalls to avoid?
Some of the pitfalls to avoid gifting. So one of the pitfalls to avoid is moving away the myth and that I cannot. Okay. Do not try to do any long-term care planning without professional help, because more than likely you're going to turn left or right in the wrong direction. And then we're going to have to come back and correct you. Example, if you want to give your family member monies or leave them a will, sometimes it says, well, I gave my daughter $50,000 because I wanted to help her with the house. And now here it is 2 months later, you're now applying for some benefits. And in most states, we have gifting rules. So that's a pitfall. You want to be educated. And so most people, when they do have money, they say, oh, they're thinking about the Medicaid rule or different rules or laws that we have in each state that they are entitled to. But you didn't do that. You didn't prepare. That's a major pitfall. It's not to prepare, not to talk about it, not to bring in the family meeting so that we all understand and we're all on one accord. That is the most dangerous thing you could do.
But what about if there's, it's not uncommon to have fractured families. So how can we have a fraught conversation in the middle of a fraught situation?
I love those. I love those tough questions because that not 50% of the calls come in are just that. We didn't have the conversation. Mom won't have the conversation. And now we're here. Okay. And so so let me show you how more serious this can be.
Mm.
If you don't have these conversations, and the diagnosis of dementia is very funny. It can slip up on you like a twink of an eye. You can wake up and like totally be in stage 3. Not common, not uncommon, but it can happen. So just imagine if you decided not to have that conversation with your children or your loved one, you're going to be petitioning the courts for guardianship. Do you want a judge to now come in and invade? And then they're going to have the right to your information. You're going to have the right. So a lot of families don't want to have it. But you know what I will say, and the good news of all this, most of the time at some point we are able to get the information. The saddest truth is it usually happens during crisis. And you want to have these conversations before crisis. Thanksgiving time, Christmas time, very pleasant times, memorable times. You want to have these hard conversations. Now, that book that I created, that's one I always tell clients all the time. Just give it to mom and have her to mom and dad fill it out at their own time. Mom, I bought this book. Answer it. Put it in a safe or put it in a safe place. So even if they're not talking to you, they'll be talking to you in that book.
So what kinds of questions come up in your book?
Everything possible that you would want to know about your mom, from name, date of birth, social security, birthplace, maiden name, passwords, financial advisor, attorney, login information, military status. That's a good one, because a lot of times dad served in the military, mom have no clue the entry or exit date. You understand?
Okay.
War time. Those things are all in there. They'll come. Who's your banker? What do you bank? Your social security information, your income information, your retirement information. How much do you get? How much do you receive? When are your bills due? How do I pay your bills? How do I step in and assume life for you?
I see.
It's a no-brainer. You go in there, fill the information out, and you say, Mom, Dad, I know you're not ready to discuss this. I'm going to ask you as a gift. This is what I have for you. Put it up in a safe place. Just let me know where you keep your safe things at. That's the conversation to have without ever speaking to them. Because I could promise you, if they fill that information out, you won't be lost. Now, how do I know that? I was a caregiver of a 52-year-old. My sister was gunned down. That's why I was burnt.
I'm sorry.
I could not pay any bills. And this was someone I spoke to every day. Imagine our parents, when we get married, when we go off to college at 18, 19, then we decided to live in another state because we got married. We married the love of our life. Now we're only visiting mom, during the holidays, birthday, holiday. We really don't know our parents anymore. You don't know their every move. Unless you really have a good relationship, like you really talk about everything. And sometimes you miss things, Nadine, because I spoke to my sister every day and I couldn't tell you who her mortgage. I knew who her mortgage was, but the auto, the life insurance, the policies, how much is the coverage? Where's the health insurance? And so if you fill that out, everything you need to know is going to be there. You're going to be able to pick up that book. Oh, I'm not worried because I know Bob is mom attorney. I know James is the financial advisor. She has 3 accounts at Wells Fargo, 2 over at Chase, 1 at Bank of America. I mean, they literally have portfolios all over the place. CDs over here, stocks over here. The safe deposit box is housed at Bank of America. Here's the key. Here's the number to go in there.
Okay. Very practical. Okay. All right. I like it. Yeah. Okay. You alluded to this before, starting to talk about it. So I want to take a deeper dive into this. I want to talk about caregiver burnout. And I imagine that financial stress can play a big role in caregiver burnout. So how have you seen the financial burden of caregiving impact families, and what creative solutions have you worked out for managing both the emotional and the financial aspects?
And that happens all too often because you'll have the daughter or the son on the phone said, hey, I've been supporting mom for 4 or 5 years now, and my wife or my significant other is starting to, or one that I hear all too often is, I'm starting to peep into my own retirement to take care of mom and dad all the time. And that is burdensome because they're like, oh, I'm struggling. And I'm so glad that somebody passed your information on. And so right then I started to help decrease that anxiety by saying, hey, there is some help. Let's look into some of the benefits that your mom may qualify for that would ease some of the burden from you. Because sometimes mom and dad have sacrificed all for us, right? Right. And we're successful. We're in our careers, but they were housekeepers, some of them, and they saved all their monies. Let's keep it real,
Yeah.
And so I know for me, my mom could not provide the support that I would be able to, provide to her. She was a housekeeper, but she made sure I went to school. She made sure I went to college. Those were the non-negotiables, so that you don't fall in this pitfall. But guess what? It will become my burden also, because I have a small child. I haven't put my child through college. So imagine me having to pay for 24-hour care, or me having to help support assisted living cost of care. So knowing your options. So when they come to us, we present all the options. Okay. Staying at home with 24-hour care may not be an option. Let's take a deep breath. Let's deal with the reality of where we are right now. And these are our options. And you know what? I can say truly the success has been overwhelming, because people will trust you as a trusted voice. And we'll say to them, let's look at this. Let's do this. And so if we can help them save, and we can, you know what? The problem that we're dealing with, the stress is not coming from the access. It's coming from not having the access, not knowing. Because those are the things that will bring the burden up. Because you're using your money, you're spinning your wheels. And I'm trying to make mom happy, and I'm doing this and I'm doing it. But you don't know your resources.
Okay. So being informed. Okay. So changing gears a little bit, with over 30 years of experience that you've had, I do not doubt that you've witnessed an increase in scams, because this is something that you talked about as well, like on your website. So scams, particularly those that target the elderly. So what are the key red flags that families should look out for?
So I just left the podcast, and that's exactly what we talked about. And so here's the thing. You want to look out for repetitive checks. Okay. Because let me tell you where I'm going from with these scams. They come from the person that is caring for you the most sometimes. Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
You have your caregiver. You love your caregiver. She's here. She's been taking care of me for a year or 2 years. She's starting out saying she's in some hardship. Can you help me here? Can you help me there? And now you're seeing 3 and 4 checks being written out. Well, yeah, your mom told me I can have those. Right? The story may be true. It may not be true. Huh?
Yikes.
The story may be true or it may not be true. But why are you writing 3 checks a week now to your caregiver? Because she know ain't nobody looking. There's no one looking. Or why are you ordering from a whole nother country? Mom, like, why? Why'd you use your card? I just had a case, sadly to say. I could, like a tear just dropped down my eye, just that quick. This gentleman was scammed out of $750,000 because he was promised land in another country. These are scams, Nadine. I'm not talking about your common scams of going on the internet and calling, and my grandson's in trouble. Grandma, I'm in trouble. Send me money. That's all common now. I'm talking about the scams right in your eyes, right in front of your face. Even your own children sometimes. Mom, I need help. They don't need help all the time. And I see it, Nadine. I see it.
So how does one build trust then? If you're in a very vulnerable state and you need to be able to trust those few that are around you to have your back.
And it's okay to trust them. And you have to trust someone, but you can always have a gatekeeper. So a lot of times what the children do is they get too relaxed and dependent on the caregiver to do their job. And that's bill management and taking a look at mom's accounts. So everybody get comfortable because Helen has been around for 5 years. And then what you don't also realize is what happens when mom or dad have an onset of dementia, slowly forgetting things. And eventually she bit. And you know what? First thing she'll say, I didn't tell you you can have that. I didn't write that check. And you know what? The caregiver probably did get permission and she did write the check. But you forget as they age, these things deteriorate.
So not giving the caregiver total control. Okay. Making it a team effort, which is kind of what I've been hearing from the whole conversation. It takes a team. It takes a village. Okay. So what if we are noticing some wrongdoing? How can we protect our loved ones without kind of going back to what I talked about earlier, seeming too invasive?
How can you protect them? So you can't protect someone that don't allow you. That's number one. That's just the truth, right? Okay. You just can't. Okay. So if I say to you, Mom, I think it's time for us to share information. You can ask, let's share information, meaning, hey, sometimes you have to say, you be a part of my business, I'll be a part of your business, right? So that I know, so that we can protect each other, right? Or this is another little sneaky little way I tell families, help mom set up online banking. And that way, sometimes, Nadine, you can just go online and look and check and see what's going on. You can look at the movement. Because you have a lot of seniors that's very gadgety, believe it or not. Okay. They're into the technology now. So, Mom, you know what, Mom? Because my daughter does it to me, Nadine. She'll say to me, Mom, we don't have to go to the grocery store for this. Let's just order it online. And she's so gadgety. She'll go, so do it with them. My daughter is doing it with me. Okay. And I mean, I'm 50 and over, but what I'm saying is do it the same way with the mom. Mom, you know what? You don't have to do this. I just did it with a client yesterday. Say, help your mom set up online banking. She says, oh, I trust my daughter. I can tell she was apprehensive. But guess what? When her daughter helped her with online banking, guess what? She kept the online banking information.
So let's flip it. Let's flip it from not the caregiver stance, but from the person accepting the help. How does one let go and allow and give permission without feeling like a burden to accept the help from the daughter, the son-in-law, whoever?
So you're going to flip that by you're going to say to the mom, you know what? And it works every time. And I tell the families, I say, you know what? Tell them, say, Mom, you know what? It's a pleasure. Remember, you took care of me. You got up early in the morning. You got to give it back to them, right? Mom, it's my duty. It's my pleasure. I would love to do this for you. Just let me know when you're ready. Okay, sweetheart. Sometimes they'll say, let's do it right now. Mom, I am so excited to help you. It would be my pleasure. It would be my honor to help you. I'm not taking anything away from you, but if you need me, this is what I want. This is what I'm willing to do. And you know what I also do? So they'll say, I don't want to be a burden. They'll say, well, I am only available 2 hours a day to do this. So I'm willing. And so they feel better now knowing that they know what your availability is your slot like time that. Is. You understand? And so you be direct also, although you know we as children, we're available all the time, but everybody knows their parents, right? I've used that method and it has worked. Mom, no, you're right. No, I cannot be available to do X, Y, Z, but you know what? I'm available from 10 to 12. I would like to get anything done that you need me to do. And that way it's not overwhelming to me. And then you handle the things that you can handle. And I make myself available for these days or X, Y, and Z because Johnny doesn't have this going on and he doesn't have this going on. So then she feels like you're still taking care, or he or she feels like you're still taking care of your family and you're not overburdened. Then they always, almost the success is, yes, okay, because you let them know that I'm still human and I can't get overwhelmed, but I do have this time allotted for you. And they go, yeah, that worked.
So something else that I was thinking about while you were answering, I hear this maintaining this mutual respect and dignity for everyone involved. So I'll give you an example. Something I thought about after this happened. So it was a silly little thing where I was going to visit my parents and one of my kids was with me. And they needed help with something in the laundry room, moving a machine. So my parents couldn't do it by themselves. Well, my dad, being a very alpha male, had a specific vision on how to do it, but it was very complicated. Like he was overcomplicating it. So instead of I actually watched myself in the moment feeling frustrated because I was like, this could be done in 5 minutes. In my inner dialogue, like, why are we doing all this? Why are we having this discussion? Why are we wasting? Okay, so I made a conscious decision in that moment to stay quiet, let him lay out the overcomplicated plan. And once it was done, present with my daughter, with my mom, hey, how about if we just do it this way? Let's try that way. And it did seem to diffuse the situation. What could have ended up as like a tug of war didn't end up that way. So I think even the power of listening sometimes and dignity, giving that person their space before giving an alternate explanation. So you don't feel like you're overpowering someone.
And let him stay in control. Because that's the alpha male, he has to stay in control. And that's another good one. Understanding and knowing one's personality. I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't bring that up. Knowing and understanding each person's individual personality. And I think once you get that and understand that, you know how to, in layman's terms, stroke it. And that's the success. Because let's give an example now. When we're married, we know how to get something out of our husband. I know sometimes certain information, don't drop it on him when he coming in the door.
Sure.
You understand? I'm not going to get anything I want. Don't do it when X, Y, and Z. And I can ask for that same thing, but it's in a certain moment. So I'll tell my kids, listen, don't go there because you're not going to get. And it's because it was just the wrong time. Because you know your dad cannot do three things at one time. He can't think three. You know what I mean?
Sure.
He doesn't. He does. So knowing that, that's the art, really. Once you master that, once I master that, I get anything I want for the most part. The things that would ordinarily be no, they're yes, because it's at a more compromised time, or sometimes I have to bring it to him where he feel like it was his great idea. And that's what we have to do with our parents. Because remember now, think about this, Nada. No one wants to feel like they're losing control, even when they know that they are losing control.
Sure.
Let's face it, that's a hard task, no matter what your personality is. No one wants, because as parents, they've always been givers. And so I always tell them all the time, tell them it's my time now. It's my time to do what you did for me. You know what I mean? It's more than a joy. I got this thing I create called the Happy Caregiver Movement. I am happy to do this for you. And you're not losing anything. Matter of fact, you're gaining everything possible because now you have an extra layer of eyes to make sure that this doesn't happen to you. To make sure that doesn't happen to you. So those are the things that we need to position ourselves to free all of it. Everything that you're asking, once we learn the art of who that person is, all things are possible.
And relying on your team, because there's certain things that like my parents wouldn't listen to me necessarily about, but maybe they would listen to my eldest daughter, or maybe they'll listen to the other one, or maybe it feels better coming from a friend or, something like that. So just knowing your team too is also what I'm hearing. Okay. So, got a couple more questions. This one is we were kind of micro. I want to go macro now. Your vision for change. So, having been in this field for as long as you've been and seeing it from multiple angles and over time, what do you think needs to change in how we approach aging and elder care in America?
You know what? I always answer this question. It's like, to change anything is to, I never approach a senior as aging. I just call it gracefully growing. And if we learn to gracefully grow, if we learn to respect that, because there's a stigma attached to that.
Absolutely. We are an ageist society.
We're an ageist society. Right. We are. But if I could change anything, and the respect, because a lot of times, for whatever reason, when you're elderly, for whatever reason, we feel like they don't know anything. You know what I mean? They don't know.
Yeah, we infantilize them.
We really do. And you know what? It's the same way with the child. When they're 2 and 3, they'll say, "Hey, watch what you say to them. That's our future leaders." Remember that? Remember that saying? These are our future leaders. Respect our seniors as such. They have a wealth of knowledge and they are important. They mean something. I hate when, again, the approach is, "Oh, they're old. They don't know. Mommy don't know what she's talking about." Even America does that to us for the most part. Matter of fact, really, it's a stigma in aging and seniors. It really is. But we're making some changes to thrive because, again, aging is aging gracefully now. We've got the new normal. The new 80 is 70 now. So we're doing some things to change and to counteract that stigma that's attached to the elderly or the senior population. And we're in a group all by itself. For whatever reason, we're specified as a different group of people and not really as a group of just human beings that just has an age that's a little bit more, 10 years more than me, or 20 years more than me. And so if we can give our seniors back that dignity and that respect and still treat them like that 2-year that we said, this is our future leaders, I think the approach, even from a political perspective, would be totally different.
Any other nuggets of wisdom you want to share?
What else do I want you to? They are human beings. They are special, just like you are. And they have the same feelings that you do. Always remember that they have the same feelings. None of the emotions ever leave, no matter what age you are. The expression may be different. A 2-year-old may not be able to express, but they know what it feels like to not feel, even if they ask for a cookie. You can say no, but it's how you say no, right? The no could come out of love or the no could come out of, oh.
Yeah.
And they go crying. Well, if you say no, baby, isn't the expression totally different? Same thing with the seniors. They have expressions. They have feelings. None of that ever leaves, no matter what age you are. It never, ever leaves. The response is still the same. Rather, they're able to, and a lot of times you think, demented people, they still have the feeling, but the inability to communicate that feeling. That's the part that changes, but that feeling is still there.
What is your personal definition of what it means to be healthy?
Well, oh, I love it. Listen, health is wealth. My health is my wealth. That's number one. Okay, so I am definitely health conscious, right? So a lot of times when I go on live, I'll tell them I am taking care of myself first. When I came on, what did I show you? A bottle of water, right? Because that's my wealth. That's my wealth. Because that is my wealth. So my definition of health is self-care. I give myself 1 hour every morning. No one gets to control that. Absolutely no. If you do, I'm going because I cannot be to you what I am not to myself. And that's healthy. So I got to get up, make sure I take my vitamins, make sure I take my walk, make sure I have my juice, that I'm prepared, because I've got to give to America every day. I've been talking since 9:05 today, and it's almost 4:00, right? But I've got my water, I've got my juice. It means the world, and your health will carry you further. Okay, I am going to be around for a very long time. So what it means to me to be healthy is my wealth. That means more than any dollar bill that you could ever give to me. I protect my health. I protect my health.
Well said. Princella, this has been a real pleasure. Thank you for everything you do. I'm excited to get a copy of the book to give to my parents, and I hope that more people are going to do the same. Thank you.
Anytime, I'd love to, join in on some more conversations. I love the questions that you ask, because you know what? They are thought provoking. And that lets me know that you're touching everyday people and Americans. All right. Bye for now. And I'll be more than happy to join you at any time. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Wise women, move from last place to first place in your life. Stop using your body as a battlefield. Let's raise health together with a customized health plan just for you. Contact me at npkhealthintegration.com. Thanks for listening. See you next time.